Coach's Corner, we have a very special guest today. We have Arty Ritcher, the new head men's basketball coach at USC Upstate, and look forward to catching up with you. Last time we saw you was the day you were introduced as new coach, and I know
it's about 120 days ago. It's been a minute, man.
Lord knows your world's changed, and it has been busy since then, hasn't
it? It has. It has. Been all over the United States trying to find some players, and I think we've got a few that can help us out here in the Spartan country and kind of go from there.
All right, let's jump into that. I use you as a unique story in the new trend in basketball.
Okay.
And that, people talk transfer portal. Lord help us. About the whole team you inherited went into the transfer portal.
Yes.
And I have never, ever, when people said something about, well, did you see where somebody transferred? I said, I got a story better than that. USC Upstate had their whole team go into transfer portal. So you've come in now, and you do have, I think, 2 players that are staying, will be carrying over from the team from last year.
Yeah, and I think it's a total of 6 points, maybe, I think is what CJ scored last year. So, and we don't have a lot of points back.
So, I mean, that can be good, it can be bad.
Yeah.
That's what I kind of want to talk about there. And that you're going to start your program with all your players, with new players.
With new players.
So tell us, right there, you probably, I want to know, first of all, if you still got any scholarships left, I may have a little.
I got one left. Hey, man, if you got some eligibility, if someone listening to this has eligibility, let's go. Come on.
There you go. And my eligibility is from here, because this is where I attended with basketball scholarship. So I think I do have a year eligibility, because my final year I elected to become a student assistant coach.
Oh,
and
man.
that's
Then
when
you
I
got
started.
Now, I don't know. Can you still run up down that court?
No, but I can shoot threes.
There we go.
I'm a career 90% free throw shooter.
You know what?
I can be your designated free throw shooter.
The other team gets a tee. We'll call timeout so you could go in and shoot.
And I can shoot threes, but I ain't running across the half court line.
You know what? We could do that. Grinnell College does that back in Iowa, where I came from. They have a couple guys that don't cross half court. They shoot a lot of threes, and it's what they do. And hey, man, you could do that for us.
Well, I will be. My birthday's next Tuesday.
Okay.
I will be turning 66.
Oh, you still got your eligibility. You're ready to go.
We can call that play Route 66.
There you go. My kids would know it. From the movie, all the movies that we watched with. What is that? Lightning McQueen, Route 66.
With Speed or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, but tell me a little bit. Probably one advantage you had in recruiting was you could guarantee playing time right off the bat. But what did you say when you went out to talk in the recruiting?
The biggest thing that I sold, and this is no different than when we took over at Drake, no different than when I took over at Florida Southwestern as the head coach there, but like the opportunity to play and the opportunity to change something that has been there. They've had a narrative here, just like they had a narrative at Drake. We didn't have one at Florida Southwestern because there was no program there, but like you can be a trailblazer. You can be the first to lead a team to 20 wins and get into the NCAA tournament. You can be the first to try to play in postseason basketball in the NCAA tournament. They haven't been able to do that, and talking to kids about that and being different. I lost kids because some kids can't see the big picture, or they want to see the ready-made already. And that's part of recruiting. That's part of figuring out what type of kid you want, what type of kid wants to be here. But it was fun recruiting because some of them were like, yeah, I'm all in. And some are like, well, you don't have any. The toughest one is getting the first one. It took me a minute to get the first one to say yes. Once the first one says yes, then it starts the whole process and gets easier. Other kids are willing to say yes.
And you could honestly tell them, or a lot of coaches don't do this, you will have the opportunity to come in and compete for a starting position right away.
Right away. Yeah, and I think the biggest thing now sitting in the head, that seat now in that seat, is that you never promise a starting spot, but you can say, hey, they're open and I don't have any minutes back. So it's fair game. And every kid could see that. And I saw that during the summer workouts. guys did a really good job of competing, and they know stuff is on the line. They know they got to play really hard to play, but they also know that they got an opportunity to play. Sometimes you don't have that some places you go.
You know, when you said the first guy was the hard one to get. Did you feel pressure out there doing like, man, I got to get at least 5 to be able to play a game right there? Though, how did that work?
You're right on that. No, you know what I felt was like I lived it. I lived it when I was at Florida Southwestern. So I lived it where it was like one person just has to say yes. And once they say yes, other people will follow. You know what I mean? And it's just easier for someone else to, because people naturally don't like to be the first. They all say they want to be the first, but most of the time they don't. And I can't remember, I think it was Kanye was the first one that said yes. And it made it easy because then Daniel said yes, and then Braylon said yes, and then Carmani said, guys just started falling. And it became easier because they saw, oh, he's a good player, let me go play with him. But those other guys, when they said yes before anybody else, it made, you get nervous a little bit.
All right. I was nervous for you.
Oh,
I was looking, when the updates on the site there, well, he's got somebody here and here. Well, he's got 5 now he can play.
Yeah, I can
going
play
from
game.
there. You can play game now, though. Don't they got to play the whole way, though.
But the beauty of it is this, and I told Matt this when he hired me, is like, don't be impatient that I may only have 7 guys signed by June. Don't be impatient that I have 12 guys by June. I'd prefer to get, half the team done by June, but I lived it a lot. As a small college coach, your recruiting is always predicated on the higher institutions. And kids will end up not getting those opportunities, so they start to fall down to you. And you just got to have some patience.
All right. Once you get over the first initial signees and all like that, how hard was it? Because you can't sign 5 players and all of them be point guards at getting the needs at each position that you were going to have to in building the depth. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, the puzzle pieces have to fit. And by putting it together, which was really neat, is like I was able to get guards to start. And guards are the toughest ones, I think. Good guards that you really want to coach are tough to find, and I was able to find a lot of good guards that I like and that fit me and fit what we do here. And then now, all right, I got guards, I had a couple big guys. Now it's finding those tweeners and then piecing it together. Is like sometimes there may be someone that was out there on the board that we could get involved with, but it didn't fit the puzzle. And sometimes as coaches, we just try to accumulate talent and not put the pieces together. And what I learned building a program from scratch at Florida Southwestern is you got to put the puzzle pieces together. It's the most important part. Jimmy may not be as talented as Isaiah, but Isaiah fits the puzzle better. I got to take Isaiah. And it's the end game is what you're trying to get to. And that's what was neat about this here at Upstate. What's really neat to me is that I got to do that again. Normally you don't get to do that.
And like you said, I imagine it has been fun putting this team together.
It has. Like a good friend of mine said, you had the GM hat on for about 90 days, and then you put your coaching hat on. And he was totally right. You have a GM hat on. You're trying to accumulate the players that fit what you're trying to do. And then once they got here this summer, now it's like, oh, now I get to coach them. And now I had a few scholarships left, and I get to go through some of the workouts this summer and figure out what other pieces I needed. And that became like free agency to me. That's how I kind of looked at it. It is fun. I got through the month of June workouts, and I'm like, all right, we need this piece. We need a 6'6" athlete that can fit in. And then we got a kid named Mr. Dean to come in. And that's how this kind of worked. It worked well for us, I think.
kind of interesting. Back when I was coaching, I used to go to Coach K's coaching clinics every year, and he had a coaching academy one year that was something really special, where I actually went to Duke and spent 4 days there and sat down with him, where he went over and covered and taught his entire program from top to bottom and everything. And the thing that he always shared that I thought was always neat too, his philosophy on recruiting was at Duke every year he tried to sign the best point guard, tried to sign the best big man, and fill in the rest of the roster with the best athletes.
Yeah, and the way he did it was really good. I mean, he learned from one of the best, and that's, you know, I mean, the way they did it is really good. If you have really good point guard play, and I think we do have good, like our guard play with Britt Harris and Kermani Gregory and Chico Johnson, those 3 guards are really good guards. They could be point guards, they could be shooting guards, they could be combo or whatever you want to call them. I consider them lead guards nowadays. And big guys at this level are tough. Like I got a 6'10", 250-pound German big. I got a 6'8", New Zealand big that is versatile. They can play the 4 and the 5. And then I got an undersized 5 that is kind of like a Draymond Green type of 5 that can guard 5 positions, but on offense can play all over the floor and cause havoc. But I like versatility, kind of like Coach K. What you're saying is that middle tween guys, that 2, 3, 4. I like 6'3" to 6'6". At this level, 6'3" to 6'6", 6'7", that have ability to jump, run, and have some skill.
And it's kind of like what's saying, I don't know if you remember Thomas Hill that played Duke back on a really good team.
Really good team.
He was in the category of one of those that was a great athlete, and Thomas used to work my basketball camp. That he told me that he developed as a shooter when he got to Duke. He was a great athlete, but he practiced over 300 threes every day and turned out to be a really good three-point shooter for Duke, where he was recruited as an athlete.
Yeah, and you have to, I think in today's time, you have to develop. I know you're not getting these kids like you used to for 4 years, but you're getting them now for 18 to 32 months, and sometimes less, but typically that's what you're getting them before they try to go in the portal on you. But you got to develop them, and by developing them, you're going to get the rewards. You may not get the reward tomorrow, but our guys got better by the end of the summer because we did do a lot of shooting with them, and we did a lot of ball handling, a lot of passing. And by February, if they stay on that same course, that means they did it for 8 straight months, and they're going to naturally get better.
Now, the blend, another thing with the recruiting right now too, you had to get at least 5 to play and stuff like that though. When you were out recruiting, were you looking primarily transfer portal, junior college, or how many high school kids, incoming freshmen, could you actually take a chance with of trying to bring them in, maybe force them to play, or did you get a blend of each?
I got a blend of everything. I went to the store and I said, you know what, I want a couple Division I transfers, I want a couple D2s, I want a little NAI action, I went some JUCOs, I went a couple preps, I went a couple overseas guys, and then a couple high school kids. And I did that because I just think you can't go in and have 13 guys all be at the same age. And in the portal, you can't take 4 or 5 seniors because of progress towards degree. It's tough. They got to come in at 80%, or they got to be a grad transfer, one or the other, and that's tough for kids now. And that's the thing about the transfer portal. So it's tough getting seniors, and we didn't get any transfer seniors. We got older guys, but like our team on opening night tip-off, I think we'll have 2 teenagers on the team.
Wow.
2 teenagers. Like we got a kid, we got 2 prep school kids. They're going to be 20-year-old freshmen. When we tip it up on November 4th, it'll be 20-year-old freshmen. And I was a 20-year-old junior. You know, that's the difference. You know, they're just older. So yeah, we'll have a roster of like 4, 5, 6 freshmen, but they're not going to be your typical freshman. Like we've got Chico Johnson, who'll be a 20-year-old freshman. He's already spent 1 year in college. You know, so what I try to do is, and I believe this, you win with age at college basketball. You got to try to get old and stay old, and we are going to be old from the get-go because we're going to be 20 plus. So they're going to just have more life experiences compared to that 18-year-old coming out of high school. But we got some high school. We got a kid named Jamari Briggs that's coming. He's a true high school kid. We got a kid named Nick Book that's coming from Westfield High School in Indiana, but he's from New Zealand. He plays on the under-19 national team. He's lived away from home for a number of years because he's been in the States the last couple of years. So he's just a little bit older, a little bit more life lessons, and that's what I was looking for. A little bit older, but they weren't seniors. I have a mix of juniors and freshmen if you look at my roster, but they're old.
And you really need that when you're coming in, when you had to flip the whole roster.
Yes.
Having guys experience and stuff like that too. I know that this league is, I call it basket brawl, is what this is one of the more physical leagues.
That's good. I like that.
It is really, really physical. And the thing about it too, in the past, this has been predominantly a guard league with a lot of good guards, swingmen, all. Now you've got an exception, Drew Pember, who I think probably used to play when J.C. Humphreys, those guys, 37. Hopefully he didn't have any eligibility left at USC Ashland.
I hope he has no. He was a very, you know what, Coach Morrell did a very good job with him. He was a terrific player. I'm glad I don't have to coach against him.
That guy was a hard matchup.
You know what? He was like watching it from afar. Like you just get caught watching college basketball. If you put smaller on him, he could
post you up.
You put bigger on him, he could play on the perimeter. He was a really good player. And what was neat about him is that he stayed there and became, I don't know their history well enough, but I would assume he's got to be top 5 all time in Asheville history basketball.
And probably years played.
Yeah,
with that too. That he's with the COVID year.
With the COVID year, which is awesome. Like that's what's beautiful about college basketball is that you got to see him for all those years.
You know, I saw the trend kind of change a little bit last year because with the new coach with High Point now, that he was able to bring in the 7-footer from California and stuff like that, though. So, you know, roster-wise this year, how will it be? Are you going to be guard, strong, heavy at that position? Do you have the big man like and that's the other thing. The other thing about this conference is it probably is a conference in leads, and Ryan can tell you this too, in names that are hard to pronounce. I can't pronounce the guy's name at High Point there though. But
the big kid,
big kid there, Bobo or something like that.
Yeah, like he's a really long rangey athlete. You know, from SoCal Prep, good player, very good player. You know, that's what's great about college basketball. Like everybody, Coach Huss does a really, really good job at High Point. Does a terrific job, and he found guys that fit him, and that's the good thing about the portal, but that's also the bad thing about because kids move so much, but it gives people, like, you know, in his first year gave him a chance to be very, very successful right away. And across college basketball, you'll see it. You'll see 20 teams that haven't been very good in the past all of a sudden be good this year at all different levels at the Division I level, and that's what. You know, you have to find, you know, like myself as a coach, I like versatility. So I like playing maybe one small guard, but the rest of them 6'3" to 6'8", and they can move and they can play and they can run and they can dribble, pass, and shoot. So like my group is going to be, I'm not going to be the biggest team. I ain't going to be the smallest team, but I'm going to be that versatile team is what I kind of like. I like guys that can guard multiple positions, that can go between and guard a 4, can guard a 1, can guard a 5, all the way through.
Okay. All right. What is your philosophy as far as shooting a 3? Are you a fan or believer in the 3?
You have to make threes.
Yeah.
You do. Yeah. This is what I would say is you do have to make threes.
Everybody's a 3-point shooter, but not everybody's a 3-point maker.
There we go. Like, I don't want the guy, and I learned this from Coach DeVries. Coach DeVries was terrific with it. He loved the three, but he also loved layups, and he didn't mind mid-ranges. You have to figure out what works for your guys. Like, we had a kid named Tucker DeVries last year, who was a really good. He was Player of the Year back-to-back times in the Valley, and Tucker could shoot the three. Tucker could drive it. Tucker could shoot pull-ups. And everybody in the basketball analytics world would say, pull-up's a bad shot. Well, you know what? When we need a bucket at Drake, we throw that ball to Tucker at about 12 to 15 feet and say, Tucker, get us a bucket. And he would shoot a pull-up, or he would do an 8 to 12-foot jump shot. I think in college basketball, you have to be able to shoot different shots. Not everybody does. Just like the three. Not everybody needs to shoot a three. Like, I got some guys that should not shoot threes. I won't tell them that yet, but they should shoot them. And I got guys that need to shoot them. So, like, we want to be able to shoot the three just like everybody else, but we also want to shoot a lot of layups.
Okay. I had to, with one of my first head coaching jobs, that I inherited a team that was not very athletic, did not have a whole lot of size. They'd only won three games in 3 years with high school, Bowling Springs High School.
Okay.
And what I had to go in and do was we played a lot of zone because we didn't have the athletes to match up with a man. And if you've got one guy that cannot cover, maybe four can, they'll always find that one man. So we had to play a lot of zone, but we ran a motion offense that everybody, it was a 5-out offense. But I told everybody on the team my big men could shoot the three. And what we could do is we could bring them out, and the three they'd shoot was the easiest one from the top of the circle.
Top of the circle, yeah.
Just to bring the other team's big man out. And if he didn't want to come out and play outside the paint, then what we could do is he could knock that shot down. But if we could get him out, then we could penetrate and take it for layups. And if they help, kick it out and shoot the three. And we led the state of South Carolina. We were in the top three like for 5 straight years.
Okay.
And I got a kid right now. He looked like Ernie Douglas off My Three Sons. You may not even been born then.
I wasn't probably born.
With the little glasses.
Oh,
The Revenge of the Nerds there.
Yeah.
This kid could shoot threes from the volleyball service line.
Okay.
And he couldn't cover me in a wheelchair, but that kid could flat out shoot. And he's still in the record book, state of South Carolina, that he had 13 threes in one game.
Oh, that's impressive.
And if I had known that he tied the record, I'd put him back in and let him break it. Yeah. But he had 13 that night, and he had 1-2, and the 2 was his foot was on the line. So that's a thing right there. Just kind of wondering right there what you're hoping to be able to do as far as the offense and everything.
Offensively, I want to give them freedom, and like this summer, I've taught them a lot of different ways of just learning how to play, and some of them have figured it out, some haven't, and that'll come with the fall now, and that's the new age basketball. I mean, we did it at Drake. We would have our sets of plays that we would have, and then we would flow into motion. That's no different. Everybody's motion's a little bit different, but like that's what we did, and it was successful for us. And what I learned there, why would I not take here?
There you go.
You know what I mean? And no different than what we did at Gulf Coast, where we were successful. No different than when I was with Coach Dockage at Bowling Green, or no different than when we were at FSW as my own boss. I was able to use different examples from my career to now implement at this, and then figure out which guys can do. And that's what I used this summer a lot. Is there's some things I added, and I'm like, we can't do that, and I just didn't do it again. Players never realized it.
And I think what you're doing too goes what you're saying there. You got to make it fun. That's the thing. You got to have fun. That my players, I used to kid with them. That my philosophy when I played and when I coached was when in doubt, let it fly.
Yeah.
Just don't when in doubt, shoot a brick.
Yeah, like if you're like I had to tell one of our freshmen, Carmelo Atkins, who's going to be a really good player for us, and he can really shoot the basketball. But like for the first 3 weeks, he would catch it and he would shot fake and then pass. catch, shot fake. And the guy would be closing out short because they figured it out they wasn't going to shoot it. I'm like, dude. So I was standing behind him. Like I made a point to stand behind him the next week. And when he caught it, I'd shoot it. And he would shoot it and go in. And next time down, I'd be standing around him. 3-4 possessions later, he'd catch it. He'd shoot. He didn't know. I'd shoot it. So he would get comfortable. Like, you can shoot the ball. Like, shoot it. Like, some guys are drivers. Some guys are shooters. Some guys are passers. Some guys are a mix of them. And they got to figure it out, but they got to have confidence. And sometimes you got to give the confidence to the kids. And if you give confidence to them, then it becomes even more fun for them.
And Ryan knows what I'm talking about too. There was a player here last year, was a deadly 3-point shooter, but I'd never seen this done before. He was 100% from the free throw line. He was 17 out of 17. Oh. But he never would go and draw the fouls to get to go to the line. He was really one-dimensional. Yeah. He was a great shooter, want to get it to him to shoot, but when they come out and take that away, you got to put it on the floor and go to the basket and draw the fouls where you're 100% free throw.
Yeah, because then what happens is when you can make your free throws, the next three, that hoop becomes not a low hoop. That thing becomes, huge. It's like the ocean. They can just throw it in. Those good shooters.
And you got to watch out for those guys too that couldn't hit that wall with the ball over there, that will come over and say, Coach, did you don't shoot anything outside the paint? And they'll say, Coach, I'm open from 3. And I had to tell them, have you ever thought there's a reason why you're open for 3? Those guys that want to shoot that, though.
That is very true. Like, it's tough. We had a young man, Garrett Sturts, that was on our team at Drake, 6'4", 175 pounds, dripping wet. Good player. But he wasn't a great shooter. But he figured that out, and he didn't shoot him. He was always open. Nobody guarded him. But he averaged 11 points and shot 60% from the field off of layups. And he figured out how to do it and how to play within the action to not say, you know what, I need to shoot these open ones, but I just need to be able to play within it. And that hopefully I've been able to teach my guys that this summer.
Okay, well, we've been wrapping things up a little bit today. We've had a chance to talk about how you have built the team, what your summer's been like. Talk to us a little bit about Spartanburg. What's your impressions of Spartanburg? I'm assuming you've gotten moved in Spartanburg and all, but just tell me a little bit about life in Spartanburg for you now.
You know what? Spartanburg has been good to my family and I. It's different than where we're from, where they were the last 6 years. My kids they didn't know Florida, so the last 6 years my kids have been in Iowa. So it's different, which has been good for them. They started school this week, and they love school. And the city is awesome. Spartanburg is the downtown area is a really neat area. And the only thing I wish I would have done is I don't have all my boxes unpacked yet in the house. So we got the stuff on July 4th. It's we still not all the way unpacked. So I wish I was unpacked. But I have enjoyed Spartanburg. There's a pizza place there's a New York style pizza place that we love, my wife and I do, that we get out there on Highway 9 out in between Boyne Springs and Inman. I don't know. It's way out there.
I know you're talking about.
It's terrific. I had Pete's something. I can't think of the name. Oh man. Terrific pizza. If you like pizza, folks, please get pizza from there. People don't know me, but it's really good pizza.
Well, I'm going to recommend, and we're going to introduce you to a place that we'll be doing a show this coming time. They're called Sugar and Spice. It's been in Spartanburg for like 62 years. And the best thing they've got there, my favorite thing, well, they got souvlaki. It's owned by Greeks. People there, souvlaki there, but the roast beef aplenty with the onion rings that are the best onion rings in town, and coleslaw and stuff like that. They got the souvlaki there. They got all kind of things there. Yeah. But that's where we'll be hosting your weekly show up there with the players and everything, though. That JC will take care of you down there.
What is their dessert dish? Let me ask you that. I love dessert.
He used to have, I'm not sure now what he's actually got with that his mother used to make the ones. I can't think what the Greek pastries were.
Oh, he's got pastries?
He did
man, I can't wait then.
But it is great there. It's a good place to go to eat though, and again, kind of what we've done today. We'll just sit and talk basketball
There we go.
during the day.
There
It
we
may
go.
may not be necessarily what's going on with the games and stuff, but whatever the basketball topic, we're going to introduce it to people of the community. But I appreciate you being
Hey,
with
thanks,
me today.
Coach. Coach,
Again,
thank you.
we got to do lunch soon, and I'll take you up
Yeah.
there and get your lunch for the
There we
Shepherd's
go.
Spice when you get a chance though.
Well, thank you so much, sir.
So this is Arty Ritcher giving you one-on-one how to start from ground level and build a basketball
There we
team
go.
for there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.